Let me tell you something that'll spin your head. A little I am the mom who paid off her son's debt, save his house, and still got told to get lost and die. You think that's the punchline? Stick around, it gets better. My name's Ruth, Texas born and raised, and I've lived long enough to see the whole circus love, loss, betrayal, and yeah, revenge, but not the Hollywood kind. You want to know how it started? Picture this dead of night, 12:08 a.m., phone rings. I'm thinking, Lord, who died or went to jail? But it's my boy, voice shaking like he's 8 again, not 34. Mom, please, you gotta help me. I messed up. If you don't, I'll lose everything. That's how it starts, always fear and a favor. He spills it out, his words all tangled up. Crypto. That was the trap this time. Lost more than he had, took a second mortgage, defaulted, owes 80 grand. If he doesn't pay, they take the house. Samantha, his wife, has no clue how bad it is. He's frantic, promising the moon if I bail him out. I'm listening in that half-awake state where your heart knows this is going to hurt, but you can't walk away. You know what I mean? I raised this boy through broken fans and empty pantries, made something from nothing, and now he's asking for everything. 80,000. Lord, that number almost knocked me out of my chair. Did I sleep that night? No, sir. Sat at my kitchen table, fingers wrapped around a chipped mug, staring at a lifetime that never added up to that much money. But come sunrise, I made my decision. Marched myself to the bank, cashed out every dime house, pension, the little savings I had. Sold my house to a guy I barely knew, packed up my things, and squeezed into a rental down the block from my church. 2 weeks, that's all it took to undo everything I'd built, but my boy had his lifeline. Handed over the check in a cold, bright bank office. Hugged him while he sobbed into my shoulder. I owe you my life, he said. You'd think that would have been enough. Next thing I know, he's asking me to move in. It'll save you money, Mom. You're retired. You shouldn't be alone. Samantha, smiling, talking about redecorating. I hesitated. There's a dignity in having your own space, your own peace. But I let myself believe maybe this was gratitude. Maybe this was finally family, you know? First month was sweet enough baking bread, picking up the grandkids, being needed. Then, slowly, things shifted. My teapot disappeared, my soap switched out, little things. Samantha, sighing when I walk in. The kids told to leave Grandma alone. My son, God bless him, worked later and later. I felt it coming, but pretended not to. Then came the dinner lasagna, his favorite. I made it just like I did when he was a kid, thinking maybe food could fix what words couldn't. Samantha picks at her plate, my son glued to his phone. And out of nowhere, she says, this house feels a little cramped. Maybe it's time to talk about other arrangements. Calm, polite, but it cut deep. My son, me, only child, just stared at his phone. Didn't say a word. I swallowed, smiled, said I'd look into options. Next day, I started packing quietly just in case. A week later, I come home from the store, and my key doesn't work. Locked out, groceries in hand, nobody answering the door. Primetexte, ikarinuting. They pull up, surprised to see me. Samantha says it was a safety thing. My son says, you need your own space, Mom. It's not working. You're too much. Too much after I sold my house. Gave him every dollar. Carried his shame so he could keep pretending. He calls me a leech, says I never stopped taking. And then the final shot. Why don't you do us a favor and disappear? He turns away. Samantha closes the door. So I sat on the bench outside, lasagna pan on my lap, laughing that hollow, bitter kind of laugh. Then something in me snapped back into place, the part of me that survived too much to roll over now. Because, see, I hadn't signed away $80,000 without reading the fine print. I didn't just hand him Kashi, made sure my name was on the loan, the house as collateral, every signature exactly where it needed to be. That house. Legally, it was mine now. That night, I found myself in a little apartment, tea in hand, staring at a folder of documents. They thought they broke me. But paper remembers what people forget. Life moves slow after that. I found peace in small things, volunteering at the food pantry, learning neighbors' names, folding my old pictures into drawers that finally felt like mine. No calls, no grandkids, just me and the quiet. One day, Eileen, my landlord, Brings me a local paper, me son, and Samantha, smiling for the camera, opening a new cafe. They try to sell the house to fund their dream. The bank called me, of course skull and closed without my signature. 3 days later, my son's on the phone, desperate again. Mom, the bank says we can't move forward without you. Please, we're begging. I asked him, why would you need me? I thought I was a leech. He started crying, real tears this time, not the kind you use to get your way. And I'll be honest, I waited for him to say it. Not just, I'm sorry. I wanted to hear, I owe you everything. When he finally did, I told him to come see me. They showed up, Samantha's makeup streaked, my son staring at the floor. I laid the papers on the table: loan, deed, repayment demand. $100,000, 12% interest, nothing personal. They were stunned. Samantha begged, we don't have that kind of money. I told her, then I'll sell the house. That's when it hit them: what you borrow, you pay back. I've been a mother, a bank, a doormat. Now I was the one holding the keys. I gave them 30 days to make it right. When the deadline passed, I filed for the sale. The movers came, the auction started. Samantha cried in the yard. My son stood blank-faced. I wasn't there. I sent a photo of my new house, a modest little thing, but mine, built with my own money this time. No gloating, just a quiet message: look what a so-called leech can build when left alone. You want to know what happened after? My son called, voice stripped of pride. I understand now, Mom. I see what I lost. I told him, it's never too late to begin again. But I won't pay twice for the same lesson. He cried, and I let him. Not out of spite, but because some pain has to be heard before it heals. I wasn't his villain or his savior. I was the lesson, the kind you only learn when it costs you everything. I don't hate my son. I hate the way entitlement can worm its way into a person, eat away all the good parts. But I don't stay broken. I build, I heal, I become more than what they remember. I started living for myself, cooking, laughing, writing, even learning piano. That's how I grew new roots. Not with applause, just with mornings filled with peace. You're allowed to outgrow the roles they wrote for you. You're allowed to become new. So if you're out there feeling small, invisible, carrying everyone else's weight, and hearing you're too much or not enough, listen close. You are not alone. There's a whole army of Usmums, daughters, women who remember every slammed door, every thankless meal, every time they called us burdens. We remember and we rise, not to get revenge, but for clarity, for dignity. So tell your story. Remember out loud, because sometimes that's the strongest justice there is. If this hits you somewhere deep, don't just scroll by. Share your truth, because the world may forget our names, but it won't forget that we finally spoke.